So the American dream is getting harder and harder for somebody to achieve. It's the classic house, family, white picket fence, good, stable career, but it just seems like it's getting farther and farther away to achieve that. The median home price in the United States is about $420,000 right now, and compare that to the median household income of $80,000. That's about a 5x ratio to the household pricing versus the historical 3x. And people that are buying homes for the first time are getting older. My parents bought their first home in their early 20s in California, and now I think it was in about 2024 I read that it was 38 years old is the median age for a first-time home buyer. And that's way up from the old median from the 80s, which was about 29 years old. And just looking back to my parents' experience, they moved from California when I was 3 years old, and we moved up to northern Nevada. And the house that they purchased in their mid 20s was $60,000, which is about $131,000 today. I actually went and looked up that house a couple of months ago, and the last time it sold was in 2023 for almost $400,000, which my parents sold the house in I think around 2017 for like $115,000. And it's gone up that much in this little time. And it just feels like purchasing a home is out of reach for the majority of people, especially the younger generation. And right now, we also have two sides of the table. The houses are more expensive than they've ever been before, as well as interest rates are through the roof. The average is about 6 to 7%, which means on the average home, your monthly payment is $2,200 to $2,500 a month. And that's before the taxes or insurance, or unfortunately, you live in an HOA. Sometimes those have fees where it's $100 to $400 a month for living in an HOA. And kind of right now, there's a lock-in effect where people that purchased the homes in 2018 to 2021, when we saw that initial big boom, recent big boom, those people were able to get 2 to 3% mortgages, and they can't sell. So they can't upgrade or get into a bigger house because their family grew. They can't sell because everything around them, the houses that they would have upgraded to that would have cost $700,000 are now $1.5–2 million, and that's just out of reach for the majority of people. And I think one of the most interesting things about this is, yes, the housing is expensive, the interest rates are terrible, but a large portion of the population have just checked out, and now they're striving for comforts and things that are obtainable. And one of the big booms right now is Pokemon cards. Now, these cards have been around since the 90s, and I had a whole bunch when I was a kid, and it's completely different from when we were younger of what it actually is. It's a business, it's an investment, and really it's speculative gambling. There has been so many stories about people that go into debt, and there are thousands and thousands of people think that they're going to hit it big and pull that rare card and get a PSA 10 on something that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They see these internet creators who post how much their Pokemon collection is worth, inflating those prices even more. And there's businesses built around the hype of these pieces of cardboard. And I'm not saying that liking Pokemon is bad or that this is something that you shouldn't do. If you have a hobby, that's great. I don't think that anybody can judge. If you have a passion, stick to it. But with these pieces of cardboard, they have become gambling mechanisms, and they're really pacifying just individuals' growth. It's a hype machine where a group of people get focused on a single product. And a lot of the times it's not even because they're interested in the cards, or I've never even met somebody who's played Pokemon cards. Everybody just uses these as collections and really a speculative asset. And I think that the biggest tell from this is when housing and growth for an individual really feels permanently out of reach for most individuals. They don't give up. People look for shortcuts. Let's look back at 2020 and 2017 and 2015 with crypto, NFTs. Pokemon cards are just another iteration of that. And the gambling epidemic is really downstream of what this housing crisis is. And really what is also fascinating about these Pokemon cards is there are people that are getting massive returns on these. And I actually jumped in just a little bit. I bought one item in 2020. I bought a booster box for Pokemon Evolutions XY. It was that reprint of the old original set, just because that's all that I know. I know all the way up to Fossil, and then I gave up on Pokemon. I don't know anything about any of the newer sets or any of the newer Pokemon. I have nostalgia for that, the older generation that I grew up with. And what's insane about this is buying that box that I have stored under my parents' house, that has given the best return on any investment that I've ever made. I purchased that box in 2020 for $390. And the last time that I looked on eBay, they were selling for $2,500 a box, which is about a 525% return. So I see why people are doing this. It's chasing that next big hit. But I don't know if everyone can make that hit. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.